reason to be gloomy.
I'd like to question your religion, because it seems to me that you make science a religion in itself.
In what way?
Well, it seems like there's kind of a Richard Dawkins cult, Richard Dawkinism, like science really, nothing is certain in science. It works in statistics, you can't prove anything to 100%. So how can you say that science is better than religion, then what you're trying to do is still harm people that bring order to the world?
You can't prove anything to 100%, but 100% is a hell of a lot better than 0%, which is what you can prove by religious reasoning.
I guess you're giving up.
I mean, I think it... Let me try again on that. The idea that science is a religion, when in fact science is interested in evidence and is prepared to change its mind if contrary evidence comes in, that's very, very different from a religion. As Lawrence said earlier, in science we constantly open to the possibility of having to change our minds, and science proceeds by progressive refinement and changing minds, and there are things that I suppose will never be disproved, things like that the planets orbit the sun. That's never going to change. I don't think that the fact of evolution is ever going to be disproved. It's always going to be true that we are cousins of chimpanzees and of monkeys and of kangaroos. So there are certain things that we definitely know to be true. The evidence is so overwhelming that, in Stephen Gould's words, to object would be perverse. But so-called religious truths have absolutely no evidence going for them whatsoever.
My point was that if I challenged you as Richard Dawkins, you'd probably have a problem with that. Doesn't matter who I am.
No.
No, we're listening to you now.
Like,
you're challenging me now, and I'm accepting the challenge.
Fair enough. Look, I'm a Catholic. I don't agree with what George Chappelle thinks, but I don't think he's a pedophile either. Like...
No, I don't suppose he is.
Well, just, you know...
I don't know. I've never asked them.
My point is that you, as an eminent scientist, if I challenge your scientific doctrine, maybe your theories or your opinion, you'll disagree with me.
Well, I will... I mean, when you say disagree, I will say, where is your evidence? Here's my counter-evidence.
And ask for yours.
Let's sit down together and look at the evidence. I mean, that's very different from saying that I'm arguing from authority.
In fact, let me jump in. Authority, that's the key point. Richard is not an authority. I'm not an authority. There are no scientific authorities. That's a key point. There are scientific experts. Richard knows a lot about zoology. I know a lot about physics. But there's no one whose views are not subject to question. And that's the key point. And there's no student that should ever be afraid of saying to a professor in a science class, you're wrong and here's why.
Except in Germany.
Except anyway, maybe I think
why are you upset when I'm questioning you now? Like, you know, isn't that the same thing? You know, isn't it like you're one of my professors?
Well,
no. What?
I think we're trying to have a discussion, but maybe I think the point is that maybe we should move on.
I mean, well, you say you're a Roman Catholic, and
I also study physics.
Yes, but I mean, do you think the wafer turns into the body of Jesus?
No.
Good. I'm delighted to hear.
Then you're not really a Roman Catholic. And the other thing that's important about science, and we had this discussion last night in the Muslim forum.
Like, I might give an example. Like, you know, people didn't really buy the whole relativity thing when Albert Einstein first came up with it. You know, there were people, like, you know, it was when those former scientists started dying, that was when people started accepting relativity. But
the difference is, you know, but there's a fundamental difference, and you should really appreciate this, and I'm surprised in some sense that you don't yet, but I hope you will.
Well,
listen to me for a second, is that there's a difference between a story and something that makes predictions. And the only thing that really makes science really interesting is it works. And so last night, when I was debating with this Muslim, I challenged him when he said it's rational. I said, you're choking. I have two choices. I do the Heimlich maneuver or I pray for you. Which do you want me to do? And I think the real point of science is that it works. And if it didn't work, none of us would give a damn about it. Really?
The point is it works until someone comes up with a better theory. Right?
What was
Would you
that? No, it works.
Would
A
you
car
agree?
works, an airplane works, the lights in this room work.
Well, you know, classical
my
electromagnetism
computer
worked
works.
until someone came up with a better theory.
Yeah.
So?
That's what happens.
That's what makes... Anyway, I don't... Okay.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
we should move on. No, everyone here has been scared away.